This is Orokin by CTX8. We're just generating a bit of lighting here so we can have a look. And this is Garden of Strange Architecture Hidden in the Mountains. And it certainly is. Yeah, this is a pretty nasty... it's gorgeous, but this is a bad canvas. Not a bad canvas. No, it's a good canvas. It's just that is a problem because that obstructs your view of players on the other side of the court, and it's kind of annoying when if you were to spawn on this side and you're always facing that. I don't know about your monitor, but mine is like super bright. Now you can alleviate that a little bit by building up your let me just get out of here for a second. You can alleviate. I don't know if you'll want to do this because of your design, but you can just move your pieces up just a bit, so that there's a shadow that falls on the court where the players are. It'll take away from the look, but players will greatly appreciate not having to stare into that the whole time. You see, now you still get the sunset effect, but now I can see that wall. I can see the other side of the court. You could maybe bring it up just a touch more. As I said, you'll still get the sunset. You know what? I'll bring it up a touch more. Let's just be absolutely sure that it's going to work. So just bring it up just a bit more, and let's generate lighting again. It's not going to change the look that much. As I said, you're still going to have the sunset effect on the court, but it's not going to be blinding for players. There we go. Yeah, that's good. See? They haven't really changed the look of the map. You're still getting the light shining in here. You're still getting the long shadows. But when a player is over here, well, maybe a bit when they're up here, yeah, that's going to be annoying. So you might have to raise it up just a touch more. But you don't go nuts, just raise it up a touch more to help with the players to be able to see. And the way you do it is you just test. You put a couple of your friends in here and have them hide in these corners, and have them hide down here and duck down like that, and see if you have any problem spotting them from this location. Like if they can hide in that corner and you can't see them clearly, then you'll have to do something about it. Okay, so let's check the ceiling. Ceiling looks good. Perches, it looks like you've made an attempt to get rid of perches, but I would be very cautious with that, and I'm sure you've tested it. I can tell by how the position of it that you've actually tested that. So get rid of perches. Now these things here, I can see how you've blocked that off, but what you want to do is you want to block that off as tightly as possible, and in order to do that, you're just gonna have to rework it a little bit just to make it just to tighten it up a bit, so that yes, there's an invisible blocker on there, but it's and bring them up as high as you can as well, right about like so, and like that. I see you have this blocker here that blocks that. It should go all the way up to the piece that you're blocking. See, nice and tight to the piece itself. Oh, that's why you had that there. Never mind. I did see that. So make this the same height as the other one. That's fine. You're gonna have to rework this. This is a problem here because watch. I'm gonna navigate backwards. The rule of Grifball is you should be able to circumnavigate the court running backwards. And watch what happens when you hit this. Okay. There. You see I'm stuck now. And it doesn't look like I should be stuck, but I am stuck because there is an invisible blocker right here. Okay. So same deal as that. Make it to the height of the shelf, and then just block off only what you need to block off. Okay. Now, one thing we have to check is for cover. Remember what I said about have a friend join? Well, this is an important rule of Grifball. Is there's no cover on a Grifball court, none whatsoever. And see, what you're doing is you're providing cover. You see, because if a player is here, they can't see a player hiding behind this rock, or a player hiding behind that rock there. Okay, so you could have an instance where the player hides over here, you don't see them, so you assume they're further upfield, and they catch a pass and score on you. So you have to push those blocks out. You can still use them decoratively, but they have to be to this point here. Let's just, you get a player to stand right here in the far corner, okay, and you stand as far as you can on this wall, and then you have to move this rock until you can see at least half of the player on the other side. Okay, so and try the other way around as well. Try crouching back in here, and if they can't see at least half the player model from any other part of the court, then that's considered cover. So you're gonna have to clean this area up again. I like the look of it, and don't take it away just because I said all this. Just move it back and make it a little bit smoother, and make it so that you haven't provided unfair cover, because that side of the court has no cover. Well, I haven't really looked. Maybe it does. Yes, it does. This side has cover as well. See, there's another instance right here where there's cover, and same deal with that one. If you run backwards, you're gonna get caught on it. So the rule of Grifball is you should be able to run backwards, and having a bump like that is okay. Here, let's do that again. Hitting a bump like that, that's okay. But if it catches you up and stops you from moving, then that's an obstruction. Okay, so same deal. Just run all the way around the court backwards, and make sure you do it in both directions as well. And make sure that you don't get hung up on anything. Make sure that all players are 100% viewable. Well, not 100%, but let's say 75% viewable to all other players at all times, no matter where they are on the court. Whoops, there's a problem. Or did I move? Oh, never mind. I moved your blockers. I'll put. That was my bad. I moved your blockers when I shouldn't have. So, and I went and put the wrong one back. Not that it matters. I'm not saving this. But for testing purposes. Okay, so another thing, you see this, your courts are very well defined on the end. You have a bit of a wall here, which is fine. But when you get over here, you don't really have a good idea as to where the edge of the court is. And the problem with that is a player might expect to be able to stand there. So let's say there's a player here, he wants to deke around him, and he can't because it's very ill-defined as to where the edge of the court actually is. And that's something else you'll see. We like I always use the example of the beach. I always forget the name. Sunset Beach, that's in matchmaking, and his one wall was just sand, and you couldn't tell where the edge of the wall is. So we made it so we had to put something like a marker on the ground to delineate the edge of the court for the players. Now it doesn't have to be huge and obnoxious and everything. Just something subtle on the ground that indicates that you can and can't walk there. Like, you see how you have the stone here? If that stone was, let's say, perfectly square with the edge. Here, I'm going to put another one. Oops. Why can't I place that stone? There we go. If that stone was marked and it was right to the edge there, let's do it this way. So you can do it with natural items. Well, it's I didn't place it properly, but you get my drift. You put 2 or 3 of those, and it just gives the players a visual as to where the edge of the court is. So I did it wrong because I can't really see what's going on here, but just make it so that you have some rocks or a ledge or you see or a larger piece of rock sticking out of the ground on an angle, so that where it sticks out of the ground, it forms a line here. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up and everything. It just has to give kind of a visual representation to the player as to where the edge of the court is. It doesn't have to be a hard edge. It just has to something that they can look at so that they can gauge where the actual court ends, because you really can't tell where it ends. Okay? And I mean, and because you have to also compare it to this side, which is very well marked. See, this one's perfectly marked. But so try to do the same thing, but with stones. And even if, as I say, if you just here's what I'm trying to say. I'll quickly try to get this to work. Okay. Find a flatter piece of rock. This isn't quite what I'm thinking of, but one of the larger, flatter ones. And then you'll see that. You see, the edge of this you can use to mark the edge of your court. So it's just, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that the player's eyes can associate with the edge of the court. But if you use one of the large rock chunks that's got a flat side, and just have that just in the ground, just like you have this piece here, but the big flat side will make a nice straight-ish line that you can put across here. Okay, and same with these rocks here. Just kind of have them flush so that you've got some kind of indication that there's an edge over here that you can see. Okay, so a little bit of work, but not bad. All the gameplay items are perfectly fine because they're all from the prefab. Ceiling's a good height. I was gonna say I didn't see any perches, but that could be one right there. Probably not. The best way to test these, there's 2 ways. You can fire a man cannon at it, but I find the safest, easiest way to test those is you just throw a block in here. And you can move this around the room as you need to, and line it up with what might look like the edge. Okay, at the widest point, and just walk along it. What happened there? I got stuck. Oh, I don't know if I did that or if you did that, but there's an uneven part on the wall here. I don't think that's a problem, but you should look at it anyway. Yeah, just walk along here and see if you can stand on it. And probably, as I say, you probably did test all this because it looks like everything's borderline, so it should be good. But you just walk on that and see if it, yeah, see, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. You walk right off it. So that was definitely not a perch. That's definitely not a perch. Okay. Oh, I see. That piece there blocks that. Now, here's my recommendation for when you do that is this piece here, that your patch, just rotate it a little bit. Okay, rotate it like that and bring it out so that the bottom is still inside. And that makes for a nice smooth ledge, so if a ball gets past and runs up here, it's not going to violently bounce back down. See, I'm just going to put that into the wall. And because this is on an angle, it makes it even harder to get a toe hold on here, because the player actually can't even get close to it, because they're You see, it's on that a bit of an angle. So that's a little bit better way to patch that sort of thing. And that way you don't have as much a hard edge here, although you do up here, but whatever. That's fine. So make sure there's no tree branches sticking out. No, those are the soft parts. Now, tree branches have soft branches and they have hard branches. And if you get right into the tree, right there, you see where I'm looking here? You can see it. They're a different color. The hard, you see there's a dark patch and then it goes light. The dark parts are hard, and they will actually form a perch that you can stand on when they're sticking through. So these trees are fine, but just keep an eye out, and if you have a trees sticking into the court, extending into the court, just make sure that none of the hard branches are there. And watch the tree as well. You see they wave in the wind. Sometimes there'll be a perch there, sometimes there won't. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, good to go. Make those changes, and that's okay. This piece here, I don't see any problem with that. Excuse me. Yeah, that's not a problem. That's on the court, but it's not. It doesn't follow the issues. There's no cover. There's, you know what I mean. It's a piece of natural terrain that you can stand on. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It is a ledge, but it's lower than it's much lower than the lowest ledges, or the lowest ledges that are allowed. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. Otherwise, nice design. Like the way you've layered the different textures and the different types of natural terrain from the different canvases, and your floor is perfectly smooth. Okay, so good luck getting those fixes in, and let us know when your fixes are made. Just edit your map post with a changelog on it, and or message myself or Nitro, and actually message me because I'll be taking the second look at it. So we'll move this one on to round 2 and get those fixes in, and then we'll get it into the comments.